Okay, guys. Super Rugby Round 6, Brumbies versus Western Force. Now, okay, let's just think about this in this hypothetical situation. Okay, if let's say you just walked into a bar and the sound is off, and on the TV this game is on, right? And you're just talking to people, and this game is just on the background, and you're just watching the game as you're talking to people passively. And let's say you didn't know that this is a live game. You just, you don't watch rugby. You just rocked up in a bar and this happens to be playing on the background. You would think that this is not a live game and this is a replay of a highlight of one try, okay? The highlight of one try that's being replayed again and again and again and again and again, okay? You wouldn't think that this is an actual live game. Because every try scored in this game is from the same move. A 5-meter line out, into a maul, into some kind of crash ball midfield, and then some kind of try on the sideline, okay? Or like a try, another face over. It's just exactly the same move from both teams, again and again and again and again. And especially in the first half, you literally think Deja Vu, again and again and again. And there was one try that almost looked like it was going to be something different, and it was denied. Okay, so if you watch, if you're into watching the same move done again and again and again and again, this is one of those really weird games that you might want to watch, I guess. But anyway, the Brumbies have executed sublimely in this game, and in the first half was a complete shutout. Okay, the Brumbies didn't have a single penalty. The Western Force had 30 seconds of inside the Brumbies 22, and in fact the 30 seconds when they were inside the 22, they probably didn't have the ball, and it was just Brumbies getting the ball and kicking it out. Just absolute domination from the Brumbies, and the only attacks. Attacking positions Western Force had in the first half was literally at the 50 meter mark. They didn't get anywhere near the Brumbies try line. And when the Brumbies had the opportunities, they just literally did the same move again and again and again and again just to score tries and to milk penalties and try to score tries again from the same penalties. It's just rinse and repeat of the same move, basically. And then a bit of bounce back from Western Force, and then eventually, Brumbies are just too good for the Western Force, man. What can I say? Now, let's get into this Deja Vu fest, okay? At the start of the game actually looked a bit different. It looks kind of competitive, and it didn't look like a Deja Vu fest. And Brumbies were actually looking a little bit shaky at the start, right? So, I've got the stats here. The Brumbies lost 3 of their own lineouts within the first 10 minutes. First line out, they've overthrown it, and then Western Force got it. Second line out, it was stolen by Western Force. And third line out, it was just not straight. Faenga was just I don't know, it looked like he was just waking up or something. He just didn't, just most basic mistake, we just didn't throw the line out straight. And at this point, you wouldn't expect that all the Brumbies tries would be a precursor. This is the precursor of what's about to happen, okay? You think, this is Brumbies, a big Brumbies weapon is their line out maul, and then potentially rolling into a try or into a penalty, or creating space with the maul for the backs. You're thinking at this point, the Brumbies line out is not looking very good. Maybe we'll see something different from the Brumbies today. Nah, not a chance. In fact, that's all you're gonna see today is Brumbies maul into a Brumbies line out, into a maul, into a try, and it's just oh my god. Anyway, the first try from the Brumbies took 19 minutes to score. The Brumbies had the ball after the first 10 minutes of back and forward. For the next 9 minutes, it was just Brumbies hammering the Western Force. It was literally penalty, and they kicked it out in the 5-meter line. The ball comes in, Moore, okay, didn't score. they try to spread the ball out, full on penalty for offside, right? And then they didn't get the try, like for some they didn't get the try for whatever, they dropped the ball or something, and it's like, okay, another line out, okay, we're full on penalty, another line out, so they went for another line out, another 5 minutes, exact same move again, line out into a maul, and the maul gets stopped, ball comes out, and then something happens. The ball went out of the sideline, and then it's not a full-on penalty for collapsing the maul or illegally or something, right? And then you know what the Brumbies did? Another line out at the exact same spot, dude. And then guess what? Do the exact same move again. Line out into a maul. You know what they say, right? Doing the same thing, expecting different results is exactly what rugby players do, right? It's the definition of a rugby player, right? You do the same move again and again and again, expecting different results. It's exactly what a rugby player would do. Okay, this is like you cannot get any more stereotypical than that. And then you took 4 lineouts for them to finally crack the defense, right? And they scored a try at the 19-minute mark with Ikitau, where they spread it out. Eventually, there was a bit of overlap, a bit of gap. Ikitau had a bit of gap, and he crashed over for a try. Okay, so that's the first try for the Brumbies. And this was like Western Forces looking like they're really close to getting a yellow card from like offside or from collapsing the maul. Now, a few minutes later, Western Forces couldn't even get the ball inside couldn't even like get the ball inside the Brumbies half. The Tom Banks kicking and Brumbies like defense was just way better than Western Force. So what was generally happening in the first half at this point is Western Force would try to attack, and then they wouldn't go anywhere. So they would try to do like a grubber kick or some kind of tactical kick or a high kick or something. Brumbies would just catch it with like no pressure, get the ball, and then do a return kick. And then he would just, like, the return kick would just be way better than Western Force's initial kick. And then Western Force would be back inside their own 22. And then Brumbies would come out, force some kind of penalty. Maybe there's a knock-on. And then Brumbies get the ball back. So that's, like, the Western Force got shut out hard. And they got dominated in their kicking game. And they got dominated by the Brumbies defense. Anyway, 26 minutes in. 26 minutes in. 15 minutes in, a little bit further into the game, okay? So there was, I forgot. Western Force did get a yellow card, and it was, you figure that the repeatedly collapsing the maul, repeatedly offside will yield a yellow card. Now, eventually, Kieran Johnny went for an illegal intercept, where he like basically, instead of trying, he basically like knocked the ball down as the ball is swinging past from one to another, which is a professional foul. That is a yellow card, regardless of where you are on the field. That's just straight up professional foul. You cannot just like knock the ball down in the air as it's being passed from one player to the other. You have to either catch it or you don't touch it. If you catch it, it's fine. But if you knock it down, professional foul, Kieran Johnny goes for 10 minutes, and then the Brumbies scores the first try. Now Brumbies has an advantage, one extra person on the field, combined with his superior kicking. Brumbies eventually got a penalty again, 5-meter line out, and guess what? They do the exact same move again. Line out into a maul, and this time the maul doesn't get stopped. And then this time basically there was a scrum penalty, and then the scrum penalty they took the scrum penalty and turned it into a line out, and they used the line out to turn it into the maul, and then again the maul goes in. The ball spreads out. All the Western Force defenders got sucked in. They spread the ball out wide to Ikitau again. Literally, same player scores a try right under the pretty much under the post, right? And suddenly Western Force is down 14 points to 0 at 25-minute mark, and it's not looking good. And Kieran Johnny has been off at this point for almost 10 minutes. And then anyway, you figure that Kieran Johnny gives back, and Western Force is only down by 2 points when they're off with one person in yellow card. You figure, hey, maybe Western Force can do this when they have full players on the field. Not a chance. The Brumbies just too clinical. Western Force, with 15 players on the field, still couldn't get past halfway. Brumbies get the ball back. Another penalty goes to the Brumbies around the 30-minute mark. And guess what happens? Okay, sorry. Before this penalty happened, there was I think there was one point where Brumbies got the ball at halfway mark. I think Western Force might have kicked it to a high ball kick to them. So Brumbies spread the ball out wide, and what's his name? The Brumbies winger got the ball basically, and he was just like running in, the big fella. He was running in, looking like he's just having like he just like open space in front of me. He's just running in. He was literally like over the try line. He looked so he just like looked like he's having a nice edge, about to put the ball down. He's literally like stepping one foot over the try line, and Jack McGregor from the Western Force fullback just came in from nowhere, like a flash of light, just comes from nowhere and takes him out. And then the Brumbies winger just like got knocked out. And as he was flying over the line, he realized he's getting knocked. It's like he didn't even see. It's almost like he didn't even see Jack McGregor was coming. So as he was flying over the line, he realized he has to put a ball down. So he's trying to reach down and put the ball, and he put it on the line. And then he was deemed like out, because if the ball touches line, it's considered out. So it was like the Brumbies could have scored here, and this could have been the only try that Brumbies scored without a set piece from the line out. And he almost looked like he either didn't see that Jack was coming, or he didn't think that he wasn't gonna get knocked out. Like he think he was too close to trying to get pushed out by Jack McGregor, who's like way smaller than him, like probably like, this much shorter than him, right? Like he was way smaller. The Brumbies winger is what's his name? He scored like 2 tries last game. His name's sleeping mine, but he's a giant big dude. And the Western Force fullback was just a tiny guy. I think he didn't expect to get knocked out, like push it out onto the sideline. Nor did he expect him to come in so quickly and to hit him. And yeah, cause he he could have just he was literally with one foot like over the try, he's like stepping over the try line. If he just gone dive for the line and just gone for it, he would there's no way Jack could have stopped him. He could have just got the try. But he was hanging out, jogging along, and then just got smacked. And he was just like, oh, gotta put the ball down. And then quickly trying to put the ball down. And then he just placed it on the line, and it just considered out. So that was a denied try for the Brumbies. Anyway, 31 minutes. I don't have to say anything else. Another penalty for the Brumbies. Kicked it out to... And in fact, these lineouts all happened at the same spot. On the far side of the field. On the left-hand side of the Brumbies... of the Brumbies attack... from the Brumbies line. Okay, on the left... So Brumbies left to the Western Forces right. Exact same spot. 5-meter lineout. Comes in. And this time, it's Neville that scores a try. So this time it's a little bit different. I think this is where all these tries look so similar. I think this is where Brumbies did a bit different, where instead of spreading out wide, they had a crash ball to the right, and then they just quickly switched it back to the blind side. And then there was just 3 people standing on the blind side, and the Western Force was just completely not expecting it. And one of the forwards just got the ball and put the ball down for a try. So Neville is here, scored this one. And then 5 minutes later, another penalty, and then for the Brumbies, Tom Banks kicks the ball out at the exact same spot. 5-meter line out again for the Brumbies. And you're just like, okay, I wonder what they're going to do. 5-meter line out. Ta-da, surprise, another more, and basically another more, and just I think this time the Mayhem, I don't even remember how they scored anymore. Let me have a look. Do I have it on the notes? No, yeah, so another more, they spread it out wide. There was too much depth, basically. The winger was just free. Muirhead was just free out in the wind, and there was just open space everywhere, and he just runs over. Yeah, I remember now. He just got the ball, and there was just they just literally spread it out wide, and Muirhead had 10 yards of open space in front of him, and he just runs over and scores a try. Oh man, this was just... First half, 4 tries for the Brumbies, 0 for Western Force. And the commentator will mention that Brumbies didn't even concede a single penalty at this point, and Western Force did not have the ball, did not possess the ball inside the Brumbies 22. So they've kicked the ball into the 22, where Brumbies have return kicked. They have not had their hands on the ball inside the Brumbies 22 for this entire half. Like, absolute shutout from the Brumbies. Absolute clinical performance. The lineouts, the tries set up from the lineouts, the maul was just clinically executed. Like, it was just like painful to watch. It was really, really painful to watch for Western Force. It was like watching someone trying to run themselves through a door, like a locked door, or like not even a door, like a brick wall. Someone's trying to run through a brick wall. And that's basically what we're watching here with Western Force. Just running into a brick wall and literally getting themselves like knocked down. Right? Like, it was just painful to watch the first half. So second half, everyone's just hoping that if Western Force can come out and make some kind of comeback, we'll make the game entertaining. So anyway, Western Force come out, and they did come out and score the first try from the game. And so let me just set this up again. Western Force coming out of the second half, got a penalty, right, at the 50th minute, around the 50th minute, and Western Force kicked the ball out in the 5 meter line, out of the 5 meter line, on the right hand side of the Brumbies field. So on the left hand side, on the fast, so if you're watching the TV, it's on the fast. So the Brumbies were on the far right on your TV. Western Force kicked the ball out on the far left corner because it's I think the field reversed. But anyway, how did it go? So Brumbies were kicking out on the far right. So second half comes on, Western Force kicking out on the far left, far right. Brumbies on the far left, on their left. Western Force kicking far right. Anyway, who cares? It's Deja Vu game, whatever. Anyway, Western Force gets the ball out, 5 meter line out, on their right hand side. Guess what they do? I'll give you one guess. Correct. They went for a line out into a maul and then crash ball and try to score. Okay? Like, it's like they just went, hey, Brumbies, we can play the same game as you. We can do a maul. Basically, they did like almost identical move from the Brumbies from the first half. And Western Force were applying a lot of pressure. And they had, again, this time Brumbies giving out penalties. Full on penalties for offside. Full on penalties. And penalties giving out left and right. And eventually there was a advantage. Kurandrani runs in. And he like runs into a player, and he turns around, and he pops the ball back as he was getting tackled. And the guy who he passes back to is Teifu, and Teifu just crashes over in the middle and scores a try. First try for the Western Force. Pretty much an identical move from all the tries of the Brumbies. I don't know. Anyway, it's like identical setup as the Brumbies tries in the first half. It's almost like Western Force is like, yeah, we can do the same thing. Let's see who can do the maul into a try thing best. Anyway, so Force scores this try, and Brumbies are not happy. Brumbies are just like, you just slapped me on the face. We're not gonna take that. So Brumbies goes back out, okay, and then only like literally like 2 minutes later, okay? Literally like 2 minutes later, Brumbies got a penalty. And they kicked it out of the 5 meter line. And they went for a maul from the line out. And they did some crash balls. and then Nolligan crashed over for a try. Like, the exact same setup again. Oh my god! Like this try was literally like a mirror of the Western Force try that just happened. This is like, oh, anyway. And this try, right? This try, okay. There was a really funny bit when Lonergan goes over and he's like placed the ball down, right? And then like there's a lot of Western Force players were trying to hold the ball up, and eventually he just get the ball down. And then they went to the video like review, and the radio referee had a look at it, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, he dots the ball down." But as the review was happening, so they had this camera angle, right? There's a camera angle of like Lonergan putting the ball down, and this other guy's trying to hold him up. One of the players just had his pants pulled down right in front of the camera. It's just like massive moon right in front of the camera in slow-mo. And like all the commentators start laughing. Everybody starts laughing. And nobody is saying why they're laughing, but everyone's just laughing. Like, it's just a massive moon. Just like this big white pasty butt just like shifted in the screen. And like all the commentators just like pissing themselves. And like nobody's explaining what's funny. Everyone's laughing. And no one is saying why. And the referee's like, "Oh, can we see that again?" And they put in another replay. And everybody's just hoping that they cut the feed before the moon the shot. So yeah, they did. It looked like his butt is just about to come in, and like just about to be like turn in, and then they just like cut the feed. But it was, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, we've seen enough." The referee's just like, "Yeah, I've seen it. I'm convinced it's a try." He put the ball down. It's a try. We don't see that again. But yeah, that was like the funniest bit of the whole, like the funniest part of the whole game. Just like, can watch that in slow-mo? And this big goes into the screen. Oh, it's really funny. But yeah, nobody noticed that, like during full speed gameplay, but in slow-mo, it's just so obvious. Anyway, that was like, that was really, anyway. So Western Force after that tries to hit back. A few minutes later, Western Force were like hitting again. So the Western Force this time didn't get a line out. They're building up, and they were actually made some really good progress from like 40-meter line all the way up to the Brumbies try line, right? And they're putting pressure on, and the Brumbies were just offside again, and there was like two people offside, and then Western Force eventually crashed over, and it was like held up, and then the referee just like, yeah, okay, this is a team penalty, it's too many offsides, someone has to go off, and they were just like, you guys have to pick someone to go off, and then they just pick like one of the props or something to go off, and the referees yellow card one of the Brumbies guys, and then Western Force now is up by one player, and they got a full-on penalty, and another line out. You figure that they will go for a scrum here because there's one player off in the bin. You probably get a better advantage, but no, going for a line out, and then they the maul gets stopped. Brumbies stopped the maul really well. The Force players gets the ball out, and then there was a big crash ball, and it looked like they were over the try line, right? Like there was a pile of people over the try line, and the board is just like literally. The position of the ball looked like it's over the try line, but because it was on top of a whole pile of people, the referee just like, no, it's short. So you look like you know, like if this is if this is a try line, the ball is probably like here but it's propped up by a bunch of people. So it doesn't look like, it's not like it's just over the try line like here, but it's propped by a lot of people. So it doesn't look like it's over the try line, but it probably is. So Pryor just comes in, the halfback Ian Pryor comes in, and he just like. Literally, he just picked the ball up and placed it straight down because he was like basically parallel to the line. He just picked the ball up and put it down like straight away. There's no way for Western for Brumby to stop that unless they just get someone to lay the body on the ground in that spot. Otherwise, there's no way for them because they probably just like pick the ball up and quickly dot it down. Since the position of the ball is like pretty much over the try line. Anyway, so there's again another line out into more, into a crash ball, into a try. But this time for the Western Force. And it's 14 points to, I think, 35 at this point. And the Brumbies are not to be outdone. The Brumbies will have the last word, and they will not give up, okay? With the same move. Again, 69th minute, around 67th minute, Brumbies had another penalty. And they still have one person in the bin, I think, at this point. And they didn't care. Kick the ball out, exact same move. Ball comes in. But this time I think it's a quick maul. They didn't actually. I think they didn't go for a long. Anyway, line out into maul. They spread it out wide. Muirhead, the winger, got the ball. Goes in for the try for the Brumbies at the 69th minute mark. And that is how the game ended. That's the last try that was scored before the match ended. And it's just, and then you look like, so after this, it looked like Brumbies were going to score a couple times after this with the same move again. A line-out maul inside the Western Force 22. But Western Force were able to stop them. Eventually, the game just ended. The Deja Vu is over. Okay? It's in the books. We can move on to another game. Sad that Western Force didn't get a win here, because last week the Western Force performance was really good. But Brumbies are just... Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Man, I feel like there has to be like... You almost had to bring in some kind of mercy rule. Like, you can't just do the same thing again. Like... I mean, if you're a fan, if you're a Brumbies fan and you're watching that, what did you think? Did you want to see the Brumbies score tries with the same move again and again and again and again and again and again and again? Or do you want them to do something else? Even if they don't score, at least it'll be entertaining. I don't know. I think the Brumbies probably should try something different, because they clearly had the game in the bag, right? Especially after the first half. And you've scored 4 tries with the same move. You can easily try something different in the second half. Take a bit of risk. Use a bit of different, try a different option. Maybe go for a scrum. Instead of going for line out, set up for a scrum penalty. Or like, I don't know. Or maybe like instead of a line out into a maul, do line out into something else. Just something different. Same moves again and again and again. Because, what are you going to do if you go up against a team that can, stop your maul? Right? You're not going to be able to score. You're going to have, a plan B in the back pocket. Might be a good time to take that out of the pocket when you're winning by a lot at halftime and try see if the plan B, plan C will work. And if they don't work, what do you have to do to improve? Would it be a good time to kind of like work on something else instead of using the same move again and again? I think especially in a game like this against Western Force. If you're against the Reds or something, or if you're against the Crusaders later down in the line, sure, you get every point you can and try to milk it as hard as you can. Because those games, in the semi-finals, in the quarterfinals, in the semi-final or in the grand final, whatever, this is a game where you should be able to test out some of the other moves to diversify your attack plan a little bit. But anyway, I remember the name of the Brumbies winger, Samu. Big guy. Big Samu with an afro hair. I just remember his name because I forgot his name when I was talking about him getting tackled earlier. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I am Wildcard, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.